I want to give a quick shout out to these fellow people on the screen: Dora, Michael, Thou Shalt Play More, and Weinstein Gaming for being the top supporters on my channel and for helping me making all this possible. Thank you very much. And if you want to know how to be part on this list and part of the support, stay tuned at the end of the video. Hey everyone, this is Zero Prime and welcome back to another episode of Zero Showcase, a series in which I look back on again, it's like, it falls into a habit when you say certain things for so long, you just automatically go into that response. Anyway, this is Zero Showcase, a series in which I showcase the games I've collected over time here in Beijing and other small things, that's the showcase to, just figure why not. And anyway, this one is dedicated to the YouTube channel of Thou Shalt Play More. Now, I'm not going to reveal his first name and everything, but I met him on the app which is called WeChat, which is to put it simply, it's the most common app that is used here in Beijing where people communicate with each other more, and also they do business, as in they can transfer money to one another, use it to, scan to pay for things and all that. It's like multiple apps into one basically. So, and that's the thing, that if you do come to Beijing for some time, it's best to have either a phone or the phone plan that can be used for international stuff, and also with WeChat to be used, because that's kind of like the most majority of how they do business here. But anyway, Thou Shalt Play More has a YouTube channel, and since I met him on the WeChat, he and I, go back and forth, and he sells me some of the stuff that he has collected as well. And that's why for this episode of Zero Showcase, this is dedicated to him, and hence why his name is on the thank you for the people that supported my channel. So, and in this showcase, we're gonna go over the Super Famicom games, that he sold me, that added to my collection. Now, these are custom plastics that he made himself in order to, protect the games in the box and everything. And yeah, I mean, I have seen the real thing, especially for my What the Heck Am I Playing, as I have the Retro Freak to do recordings on these games. Although I am missing a few attachments to do all of the games. And also here we have the classic Super Mario World on the Super Famicom, which has definitely been released into the US as Super Mario World. And not much is really different about this one. It plays the same thing. The only difference is that the text is in Japanese. So, and of course, unless you're a speedrunner that uses the Japanese version for speed, for quicker text and everything, there's really not that much of a difference. But next we have, ironically, Hole-in-One, which is a simple golf game on the Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, And definitely this is all boxed, all, original packaging in these things here. Romancing Saga 2. Yep. One of the well-known RPGs, because one of the RPGs that I know, since I do remember the PlayStation 1 version, where basically you just choose a different character and see what happens with the events and everything. Excuse me. And here we have the original Super Mario RPG, which I definitely do want to try out the new version, not only the Super Nintendo version of this game, but also want to try out the Switch version of the game whenever I get a Switch, a Switch console and everything, which may or may not happen soon, but just have to wait and see. And of course, the one thing I just realized now that that he sent me 2 copies of the same game, which it's definitely just rather surprising that, especially you can tell one has been well kept and everything, and the other one has been left, you know, wear and tear out into the elements, so to speak. But it plays the same thing as this one, since there are generally 2 copies of it. But yeah, like I said, one that's like, you know, prime condition, as for one that's been used and such. Yes, and here we basically have a Mahjong version of a Mahjong game on the Super Famicom. And actually, I tried to learn the Mahjong game here in Beijing, and even with some help and everything, I still can't get the idea of how to play that game. But yes, some people here play it like it's the pro leagues. And here we have a Gundam F91, which is like a simple, well, I wouldn't say simple, but it's like, you know, an RPG with Gundam doing the, well, I'm not sure if the F91 was a version or this is based on the Gundam series from the 90s version. Not sure which one though. But next we have a 777, which is basically that's a simple slot machine games on the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo. So really not much to say that it's definitely one of those in order to, you know, for people that take to and just play if they have the need to play the slots of gambling, you know, and not lose a lot. Here we have Super Bomberman 2, which is, everyone knows what Super Bomberman is, so definitely a fun game. Would definitely like to try the English version of it, just for fun, and see how far, you know, I can go with that type of game and everything. And then we have the first Romancing Saga, and again, it's one of the an RPG where I'm not sure if it's in this one, because I never played the English version. Come to think of it, I can't remember if they ever released this one in the US and such. But I'm not sure, because I know that on the PlayStation version, excuse me, my nose, that you choose a character, you go through a history based on that character, so you can select different characters to get different viewpoints of what's going on. So I'm not sure if they have that mechanic in the first one here, because like I said, I couldn't really get that far into the game since, you know, I can't read it. And then of course we have the ever so popular, and I say popular in the genre sense, of horse racing on the Super Famicom. It definitely reminds me how when I went to Tokyo, Japan years and years ago, that there were a lot of different arcades and, you know, arcade games in the Akihabara Street where they have the horse racing. So yeah, it's no surprise that they will have, you know, many versions of horse racing games on the different gaming consoles in Japan. Then here we have the Super Formation Soccer 94 World Cup Edition. Again, a simple soccer game on the Super Famicom, which I think it was released, you know, during the World Cup event of 94. Which I definitely remember 94, as that's when I was moved from New Jersey to Texas, you know, during that summer. So kind of ironic to have something, you know, around during that time and everything. So, and then we have Populous, definitely a game that I know about. That's basically like, you know, SimCity, but you basically, you know, build a kingdom and worlds and civilization based on different areas and such. So to be honest, I never really got into that, you know, like SimCity type of stuff. It's because I definitely remember in my 5th grade and such, when in the computer lab, when we can play SimCity, I would always use cheat codes in order to build like a lot of cities and stuff, but then have it be destroyed by an alien or by Godzilla to destroy the cities and everything. So not really my cup of tea and such, but definitely, you know, for those that like that type of games. And then of course we have the first Prime Goal, but then now we have Prime Goal 2 here, which was surprising because, well, then again, guys, I never heard about the Prime Goal series, but again, it plays, you know, like any other soccer game. And yeah, I'm generally not like a fan of sports games, but, you know, At least, I don't have a problem with the older version of games. The newer ones, however, it just seems kind of, I guess, like some people complain about, the mobile games that have like a lot of gotcha elements. It's the same thing like on the sports games nowadays, like when NFL, NBA, FIFA, and all that stuff. But anyway, that's all the time I have for this episode, guys. So as usual, thank you for watching, and make sure to leave a comment below, subscribe for more video updates, share this on your Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and all other social medias, and don't forget to hit the like button to help out the channel, and to turn on the notification bell to stay up to date on my channel. And if you guys want to help me out in some shape or form, I do have a Patreon account down below. And as usual, guys, thank you for watching, and have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.